So, listen, I don't really need to start another project, but here we are, yet again. So hello there, my people. Welcome back to the Unfinished Projects Club, where starting new projects is self-care. And finishing them is optional. It'll happen eventually. I'm Jen, your cozy craft companion with too many whips, too much stash, and not nearly enough wall space. And today we are diving into my very first Addison Lane kit. This may be a questionable decision. It's right before Christmas, starting yet something new, but you know what? At this point, I fully support my own chaos. So here we are. I'm caffeinated. I'm raring to go. Lord help us all. So what are my first impressions of this kit? Well, first of all, they are a full kit. It comes with canvas, drills, toolkit, and a frame even, which that's cool. And these aren't your normal everyday diamond paintings. I mean, they are diamonds. I don't know if they are resin or acrylic, but what it is that they're all sorts of different sizes. They kind of fit together and just kind of give a neat texture to the picture itself. And there's even cut lines so that you can cut it out to fit in the provided frame. It does not have that soft felty back, but it's a very sturdy canvas and a very sticky canvas, so looks pretty good. I wanted to do something cute that I could put up. You know, it's wintertime almost this time of year, and the fact that it says hello winter, it doesn't mean it's just merely for Christmas, right? I can have this up throughout the whole winter. So yeah, we'll dive in and work on getting this bad boy done. All right, and we're back. So I sectioned this off with some cute color paper, themed color paper, obviously. Sorry for the glare right here. I have to have another light on over here because it's kind of later in the day, and you know, c'est la vie. I'm going to be using this tray from Creations Marin. I love their trays. They're so adorable. Stinking adorable. And it's got, sorry about that, y'all, little washy bottom. Very cute. It's not going to focus on the name, of course. But yes, very cute. They are out of Canada. They have putty and all sorts of 3D printed creations. All right, folks, we're going to get started on this. I don't know how much we'll get done today. We'll just kind of see. I'm taking a look at these drills again. I think they're acrylic. They have a little dimple in their butt. But they are labeled with the DMC number, which is actually quite nice. So, awesome. I'm not gonna, officially kit this up because I'm hoping this doesn't take me all that long. So I'm probably just gonna be working out of baggies. I'm also using a Diamond Art Club pen. This came in their advent box last year with my multi-placer, again, from Diamond Art Club, as well as a single placer from, wouldn't you know it, Diamond Art Club. So let's dive in. Kind of excited about working on this. Like I said, I've never done one of these before. They have so many cute designs. Look at that. All right. So this is one of those canvases though that the diamonds aren't like in rows, so there's not really going to be any multi-placing to be had, which is fine. Like I said, it gives the varying sizes and the way that everything's laid out looks to be that it gives it a really neat textured look. Like for example, the background here is all going to be white, but the number 8 diamond is bigger than the number 1 diamond, so again, it'll just kind of give it a neat look. And I'm sticking to my canvas. Lovely. So how are we all today? Hopefully well. It's been okay here. We've got sick kids and just trying to get everything done for the holidays, and the oldest was here last week for part of the week, ended up having the flu. Why he chose to stay at our house while he was sick with the flu is anybody's guess. Because as soon as he started feeling better, he went back to mom's. But, is what it is. Thankfully, I don't think any of us caught it from him. But then my son, the floof, I believe I mentioned this in another video prior, he had strep right around Thanksgiving. And it kind of evolved into this really bad cough, a little bit of nasal congestion type thing. So we had trip number 1 to urgent care for the strep diagnosis. And then trip number 2 for the, basically his asthma was flaring up. That's what they said. So they put him on steroids and gave him some more nebulizer meds and refilled his inhaler. Okay, cool. So this was last week. Well, this cough has progressively gotten worse. It's just to the point, it almost sounds like whooping cough. He gets on these coughing jags and he can't catch his breath. He's got the whole thing going on, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. So not yesterday, the day before, took him to the ER. They did chest x-rays, and this cough gets so deep that if he just ate something, it's going to come right back up, that type of deep cough. I'm just switching out a little bit so I can have a slightly stickier single placer, because I don't want to play with glue dots right now. But so yeah, I took him to the ER because I'm like, all right, 2 trips to the urgent care. I'm not saying what they did was bad, but it's obviously, I don't think they can do x-rays at urgent care, so I figured at the ER I could get chest x-rays done of the kid. Which they did do. Nose came back fine. Chest x-rays were fine, but he has lung sounds. So they say he has bronchitis along with his asthma flare-up. So he's been put on more antibiotics because his strep throat antibiotics were gone. And he's been put on more prednisone, more steroids. Plus, again, nebulizer medication. And I'm going to try and tape this down, pardon me, just so that it stops jumping off the table as it sticks to me. Using some lovely washi tape that came in the Diamond Art Club advent box. We'll talk about that briefly. But anyway, yeah, so that's where we're at. He has missed a lot of school. Sorry I bumped you. So he has missed a lot of school. He really can't afford to miss school right now. His semester is coming to an end, which, you know, all of his classes come to an end right before, I mean, Christmas is the semester end. So he's got basically 10 days of school left. And he's in an honors class. So it's a little bit more difficult. He's got projects and end of year testing, like state testing for other classes, and it's just kind of stressful, especially because of the fact that I don't feel like he's getting better. We went to the ER, like I said, 3 or 4 days ago now. He still sounds horrendous. So I am contemplating bringing him back. Because, you know, quite honestly, my mom, she is a retired nurse. She heard him on the phone last night when we were talking. She could hear him coughing. And she said it. My husband said this same thing. He sounds like he has whooping cough. I don't know if there's a whole heck of a lot they do for whooping cough beyond give you antibiotics, which he's already on, but I also know it's very contagious, and that's not something they want spreading around. I mean, I'm assuming his vaccines for it are up to date, but I honestly, I don't know. Maybe he's just due for one. I don't know. So, yeah, may just have that going on. Oh, how cute. It looks cute. And I'm, like I said, I'm just kitting up into baggies because, you know, I don't think this is going to take a horrendous amount of time. So, yeah, the boy comes home on Wednesday. I'm trying to get out of work a little early so I can run to get him because his dad's out of town. And he will be home for break. So it's all very exciting. All right, let's do 3. So like I was saying, I think these are acrylic drills. They have little dimples in their butts, so I think that's one of the distinguishing characteristics. I mean, I'm not an expert in the field of drill determination, but I think that is what I have learned in my various YouTube watchings. Then there's no static, so. So yeah, we just, you know, getting the kids through their semester, college and high school kids. We getting ready for Christmas. I think my Christmas shopping is almost done, which is kind of amazing. I'm trying not to go crazy with my boys this year because they have so much stuff, and one's in college and he's always complaining that he doesn't have room enough for his stuff, so why get him more stuff, you know? I still need to run to the store and get them an outfit or two, but I have done some shopping for them. I've bought my mom something. My family, we're going to do a white elephant gift exchange. I think I took care of that completely last night. I bought something for our works white elephant, which is tomorrow. Depending on what I end up doing with Floof, I'm not sure I'm going to make it to that party. Like, if he's not feeling well still, I may make the decision to bring him back to the ER. I have checked his O2 stats and they're fine. So he's not, not getting air, but it sounds terrible. But I might just be an overreactive mom too. I don't know. But yeah, so getting ready for the holidays around here. I need to start making my peppermint bark. Make my peanut butter fudge. I always make this big dish of it, thinking everybody's gonna want it, but everybody's so picky-oon. My son loves, like, Reese's. He won't eat it because it's not covered in chocolate. Apparently, there's a limit to his peanut butter candy consumption. Whatevs. I want to put this cute little penguin guy here. This is going to be the tray I use for my kit. We're going to talk. We'll talk future plans in a moment, but I just realized this is the tray I'm going to use for it. Anyway, I love my cat-proof trays, but this is perfect. Anyway, so yeah, we just normal holiday stress, that, and I've had thoughts, y'all. I think one reason why I wanted to start a YouTube channel, as I've said before, I want to build a community. Right? I want people to leave behind their crafter's guilt. Oh, I've got too many projects, or bought something else, or, because you know what? We all do it. We can say we don't, but we do. And if you don't, if you are a monogamous project person and you're not buying crafts to last you through the apocalypse, more power to you. I'm saying that with all sincerity because I can't. As much as I sit there and say, yeah, I gotta do better and save money and blah, 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 I can't. I've been like this since childhood. I do want to do a craft, I go all in. I buy the stuff. Much to everyone's dismay, including my husband, because then our house starts to look like a crafter's warehouse. But, it's part of the joy I find in crafting. But beyond that, Ford just has a couple right now because I only uncovered a small section. So yeah, that was my main focus. I'm sorry, I'm squirreling. I wanted to find a community, but the past little while, I've felt something missing in my life. Sometimes I wonder if it's being a teacher, because as burnt out as I was, I did truly love teaching. I loved my students. I loved the subject matter, and there is a part of me that misses it. Believe me, I do not forget the stress. And I know that I couldn't do that now. I'm not ignorant of that fact, but something about it I miss, and I'm starting to realize what that is. You've heard me talk about it. I've always been known, I guess, as sarcastic, creative sunshine. I love making people laugh, and I have a dry sense of humor. Probably some people find it off-putting, maybe, I don't know, but it is me. My students always loved it. They would always joke around about how salty I was, and but they enjoyed it. I did not teach easy classes, and kids came back year after year after year for them. And they would honestly tell me, you know what, I don't like chemistry or I don't like biomed, but I have fun in here and I like having you as a teacher. Yes, that would swell the ego, but at the same time, it made me happy. I had something that they were able to connect with. Some of these kids, the love, for lack of a better word, that they got in my classroom was more love than they get at home. I mean, some of them just did not have good home lives, in this day and age. Kids, they're not always eating their 3 square meals a day, all of that stuff. And I was happy to be able to provide some kind of stability to them, to show that, yes, people care, even sometimes tell them things that they didn't want to hear. For example, I'd always overhear them talking about, oh, what they did this weekend. They're at a party, this one was smoking weed, blah, blah, blah. And I would just take that up. And they never think you're listening and that you can hear them. They're always surprised when you answer them. You're like, you heard me? Well, yeah, sound travels. But I would take the opportunity to gently remind them that, marijuana kills brain cells, and some of us don't have any to spare. Just, putting that out there. It always was good for a good ha ha ha, but, it let them know, you know what, someone does care. I mean, I'm not your mama. I can't control what you do, but So, yeah, we just always had that kind of relationship. They would come and tell me things that I know they were not comfortable talking with other teachers about. I had administrators once in a while who just did not find me cute. But my Lord, if they were to ask my students what did they like or dislike about being in my classroom, those kids would take such offense to the obvious scouting mission. They would get so mad. Be like, Miss Teacher Lady, Miss So-and-so is asking questions about you. Don't worry. I told her what I thought. I'm like, oh, okay. You don't have to defend me. But thank you. My final year of teaching, when rumor got around about my placement, see what happened was I taught at our technical building where they have classes like carpentry and automotive and culinary. I taught biomedical science. Taught it for 10 years there. I taught other class, when I taught biology and chemistry, I was at the traditional high schools. But for this program, I was at the technical center. Loved it there. I loved that building. Very small group of teachers. It was a family atmosphere. Kids were there because they wanted to be there. It was great. Well, my last year, they moved me back to one of the high schools. They say because they needed a biology teacher. Maybe they did, but I hadn't taught biology in 10 years at that point. Biology is a course that has a state test at the end, so there's standards you have to follow. It'd been a long, long time, so I wasn't familiar with them anymore. Moving me back to the high school, it was more of an undertaking than just a whole, oh, they need biology teachers, would have been worth. So, to quote one of my former students, the one I've talked about before, who substitute teaches now and has had my kids, they done me dirty. And quite honestly, initially, I didn't even see it. I bought the story of, oh, it's only going to be for the year. You'll be back here next year. But as the semester wore on, I did not see that being a realistic possibility, and realized that, nope, this is where I'm going to be. And they took away my classes because that was my program. I started that program. I secured the grant funding for that program. I took 4 summers in a row and spent 2 weeks away from my children to attend trainings for that program. It was my program. And they took my classes away. So yeah, I was mad. And getting burnt out because of the whole pandemic. That was the year everyone was coming back. So the kids just were the behaviors were not what they once were. It was just difficult. Which is why I left, ultimately. But when I taught, not only, obviously, was I able to form a relationship with my students and help engage them and teach them things that they never thought they would learn, that they were capable of learning. But I got to be me. Messy, sarcastic, pain in the butt me. And now that I'm in the corporate world and work where I work, I can't be that. I have to be corporate Jen. I have to watch my sarcasm. I can't be sarcastic with my trainees because somebody might take offense, even though they're adults. Whatever. You get observations done. Obviously, I mean, I was observed as a teacher too, but things that I used to be able to use, like classroom management wise, just being a goof and picking on the kids and stuff like that, you can't use on adults because they might get offended. So yeah, I've just, these last few years, 4 years now, I've had to put the other Jen away. When I changed jobs, life got very messy. a lot of things happened at really right around the same time. I had shoulder surgery, which shoulder surgery is no joke, people. I have had knee surgery and I've had the shoulder surgery. The knee surgery, I was up and moving around within a week. No problems. This shoulder surgery, I seriously, it was months. It was like, I would say almost probably a full year before I started to actually feel like I was getting better and could actually use my shoulder again properly. I still don't have the flexibility I used to have 4 years later. But yeah, that was a difficult surgery. And it was my left hand, or my left shoulder, which I'm left-handed. So that was fun. So yeah, and then, so I had that, was dealing with that, the new job, completely different for me. I had been teaching for 17 years at that point. So new job, learning something I was very unfamiliar with, mortgage stuff, because that's what I teach. And just a lot of changes in life. And then my father passed away. I've mentioned it before. He was older. He was about 2 weeks away from turning 71. Hadn't always been in the best health. Was a diabetic, had high blood pressure, high cholesterol, all the things. Heart problems. He smoked, so he had COPD. But he wasn't sick. There wasn't a sign that it was coming. He literally, my mom took him to get blood work done because he was getting ready for a procedure in a few days. And after they got the blood work done, they walked out to the car in the parking lot and he died while getting in the car. That was it. So, new career, new job. Left teaching mid-year, which is, I will admit, is a big no-no. Some places will take away your license for that. Did I feel guilty? Of course I did. I felt like I was kind of like abandoning everybody. But the job came along. When it did, I was offered the job. When I did, they weren't going to hold my place for me, 6 months down the road. So it was like, I either take it and go now that I actually have the opportunity, or lose the opportunity. I chose to take the opportunity. Doing that lost me a lot of friends. A lot of my people that I had worked with and considered to be friends of mine just stopped communicating with me when my father died. I think one of them reached out. So I'm not saying it lost me all of them, but it lost me friends. So, while we weren't on lockdown COVID during this time, it was still COVID. So, new job, shoulder surgery, father died. This is when I decided to stop my soap business. So, business is pretty much done. My husband and I both got COVID for the first time. So, it's like, oh, that's fun. Then he has diverticulitis. He had an intestinal rupture. Ended up in the hospital over a week. Thankfully did not need emergency surgery. He healed fairly quickly from the infection and whatnot that resulted, thankfully, because he would have ended up with a colostomy bag and whatnot if he had had emergency surgery. Boy, stressful. You know, my husband is a big guy. He's a big, strong guy. He used to power lift. And I watched him writhing and screaming in pain, and because there was nothing you could do. The doctor told him, he's like, yeah, it feels like you got shot in the abdomen. That's how it feels. So, you know, it was a stressful time. And then about a month later, once his body healed from the infection and the rupture, they actually went in and removed a good section of his colon, somewhere between 6 inches and a foot of his colon. Now, since then, he's not had any problems with his diverticulitis, which is a blessing because it was always just terrible to watch him go through that. My glue dot wants to be too sticky. I have one that's not sticky enough and one that wants to be too sticky. Anyway, but so all in all, what it boils down to is that time of my life was just crazy. And then everything kind of changed. And I also, this was the time I realized that the personality that helped me be successful as a teacher was not the personality that matched the institution where I was working. So I had to put that person away. I decided to close down my business. I lost my father, changed jobs, lost friends. Husband had been having health problems, and I had to put a piece of me away. So yeah, I came to the realization the other day that I wasn't being myself. I wasn't allowing me to be me. My son even said it to me the one day, the floof. You know, he watches my videos. Hey, how you doing, boy? He said, Mom, be your sassy self. It's fun. And something about that kind of was like, oh. It's like the light went on. And I realized that, yeah, I haven't been Jen. I haven't allowed myself to be Jen for a long time. It was an emotional realization. I was crying. It was like a therapy session without the therapist. I mean, I had no idea. So yeah, I'm going to try really hard to let Jen out. She's been put away for too long, and she needs to come out to play. So my apologies, because she can be a pain in the butt sometimes. But hey, if that's your jam, I have no judgments for you. Hopefully you stick around and watch the evolution take place, because I really, really want you all to get to know me. So, anyways, so yeah, we've had quite the week around here. Sickness, holiday preparations and emotional epiphanies. It's been fun. While I'm talking to you, I can hear my son coughing upstairs. I told him to come down and do his nebulizer, and he was like, yeah, maybe. No. Anyways, that being said, I've also been just starting to think about upcoming plans for both just me, crafting wise, for the channel, how I want to integrate the two. I think I'm going to do WIP Go next year. WIP Go is a game devised by Jessie Marie Does Stuff here on YouTube. She's a cross stitcher. Mainly, she may do other crafts too, I'm not sure. And mainly you will see cross stitchers talking about WIP Go, which is how I know about it. But I am not going to use it for cross stitching this year because I do have projects that need done and I don't want to hop around cross stitching projects. I am going to do it though to help me decide and take away some of the decision fatigue around what diamond paintings I work on. So that's how I believe I am going to work WIP Go next year. It's a bingo board, so you have up to 25 slots, but what I'm going to do is I have 5 projects that I'm going to, let's try this one, it's a little shorter. There we go. Put on my board, so they'll be on my board multiple times, allowing me to have multiple chances of working on them. So what happens is that Jessie Marie every month draws 2 numbers, and those are your projects. You set your own goal. It is very, very relaxed rules. The rules basically are, it's your board, your rules. So even if I mid-month decide to change my goal because I got busy at work or something came up, that's fine. So I will talk a little bit more extensively about it in the upcoming weeks. But if you all want to join me, please check out Jessie Marie Does Stuff on YouTube. Give her a like and a follow. She has a video basically explaining the ins and outs of WIP Go. There's also a Facebook group for WIP Go, and people are prepping for next year already. So, yeah. Stay tuned. We can WIP Go together. So that will be a part of my upcoming year. I have some plans for a new monthly series. Like I said last week, though, I am not sure they'll actually be here on time to start January's prior to the start of January. So we might be playing a little game of catch up all year. Who knows? I'm going to take part of the Heaven and Earth Designs Stitch Along by doing a diamond painting as a cross stitch conversion, and I'm going to share that process with you. So we have that to look forward to next year. So if you've been curious about cross stitch conversions, again, stay tuned. Has any of you been making your plans for next year? I'm in awe of people who can just sit down and just plan out, this is the project I'm going to do here, 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 and here. And like those of you that integrate events and, you know, maybe someday when I grow up I can be a faster diamond painter and actually get things done in a timely manner. If you've been hanging around, I've been posting daily openings of my Add More Zest Advent calendar. Been fun. I'm also throughout the month posting opening of the Diamond Art Club Advent calendar. So if you found me that way, welcome. Nice to see you. Pleased to meet you. Pull up a chair. Grab caffeine. Hop in. I've also been finding more vintagey, forgotten about supplies and projects, so I've been posting those as well. These are the projects my camera left behind. It started off as a joke because when I was doing my pre-2020 WIP parade, my camera, I lost a chunk of footage, including 2 old knitting projects. So I decided to just post those as shorts. Well, it just kind of took off from there. And as I try and organize, I keep finding stuff that it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know I had this. So, yeah. So if you found me through that venue, hey, how you doing? Glad I didn't scare you away yet. So we are almost done with this section. Awesome. So yeah, this is going to go faster than I anticipated. Nice. I'm still going to do it in sections though, because I don't want this whole thing just laying out there with all of its stickiness open to the world. I don't have pets, but Lord knows what else could get into it. I don't have a husband. It's pretty much the same thing, right? All right. What do we think, everybody? So yeah, I just kind of quartered it up. So we got a quarter done. Can't complain. So far, I'm liking her. She's cute. She's cute. She's sparkly. She's different. I could see me doing more of these. They have a llama one, y'all. Addison Lane has a llama. Our little alpaca friend is here still. Don't worry. So, you know, I need to get the llama. All right. That being said, I just want to thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. Let me know if you've ever tried a kit from Addison Lane. I'd love to hear more about your experience. I'd love to see your finish. Or if you've also started a project you absolutely should not have or did not need to start this week. You are in good company here. Come back, join me on Saturday. I'm going to open up a few more days of the Diamond Art Club Advent Calendar, so I hope you will join me for that, and I will see you soon. Bye.